Welcome to Mic-Minded People, the podcast with me, Phil Fokus. I'm a drum and bass artist with over 25 years of experience in the world of underground music. But more importantly, I'm a huge fan of MCs. That's my passion. And in this podcast, I explore it from all angles: the culture, the craft, the conversation. So if you love MCs or you're curious and want to find out more, then this is the podcast for you. Shout to all my mic-minded people locked in. Back with another episode, and I've got a big smile on my face, and that is for no particular reason. I'm just feeling good. It's a Thursday morning. I'm going to record this episode, do what I've got to do, and then I'm going to bang it out tomorrow. It's going to drop on the Friday. No long thing. I'm not here to spend hours and hours and hours excruciating over an episode and all this kind of thing. Nah, I'm looking forward to doing this in the studio, and I'm going to drop it tomorrow. So anyway, but yeah, woken up in a really good mood. Got up, done my bits and pieces, been to the gym, even managed to lay off the coffee in the last couple of weeks. I'm a little bit of a caffeine junkie, I would say. It's weird because I don't actually drink that much coffee. I know people that drink way more coffee than I do. Some days, a lot of days, I might only even have one coffee, but I just sometimes feel like I need that coffee in the morning. I get up, feel a bit sludgy and a bit heavy, and I need that coffee. But I don't like the fact that I feel like I need something to get me going in the morning. So I've dropped out the coffee. I have replaced it with matcha green tea, which is a bit lighter. It just feels a bit less dark and sludgy. Like I say, I like that word, sludgy. The matcha green tea seems a bit lighter. It feels like to start with, it's got way less caffeine in it. But it just feels like it's doing something for my body, whereas the coffee sometimes just feels a bit bitter and a bit ugh. So, yeah, don't worry, this isn't a coffee podcast. We are going to talk about MCing today, but I'm just giving you a little flavour of where I'm at on this fine Thursday morning. So, whoever you are, whatever you are doing, wherever you are doing it, big up. Thank you for locking in to the podcast. I want to start this off by what do I want to do? Firstly, I want to big up everyone that has sent me a message, everyone that's seen me out and about in a club or in a rave, and just shown love to the podcast. Because one thing I decided not to do at this stage is check all the metrics and check all the numbers. Obviously, I mean, when you go onto YouTube, you can see the views. I can go into the back end of Spotify and Apple and listen and check out all the stats. But I'm not going to do that at the moment because, to be quite honest with you, whether the stats say I've got 1 billion listeners or I've got 10, I don't really give a shit because I'm enjoying doing this and people are enjoying listening to it. And that's about it. That's good enough for me. So at some point, yes, of course, it makes sense that I go and check out the metrics. And I do want to know, where are people listening from, what parts of the world. But I've got the anecdotal evidence, if you like, that people are enjoying this. So that will do me. And I'm very grateful for that. Want to big up all the guests that I've had on so far. So the last 3 episodes have been guest episodes. I've had Ellis Esco, I've had AD and Ilmatica. Of course, not forgetting the guests that came on when I first started the podcast, Peas and Mantmast. And of course, Verbs as well. So I've had some sick guests. So big up the guests. Make sure you go back and listen to those episodes if you haven't already heard them. And yeah, got more guests in the pipeline. I know I say that every time. Do you know what? It's not anyone that runs a podcast, you will understand this. And if you don't, then here's just a very quick little behind the scenes insight. It's not that easy to get guests on, by which I mean I've got lots of people that have been listening to the podcast, have checked it out and like the vibe, or they know me and they want to come on. I've been reaching out to my hit list of guests. Trust me, I've been reaching out to some big MCs and, as in like childhood heroes, and other MCs, maybe they're up and coming MCs or they're less well known or they're from different genres. I'm reaching out to everyone that I want to chat to. And of course, some people don't get back to you. That's cool. I get that. That's absolutely not a problem. Some of these people that I'm reaching out to, I don't give a fuck. What have I got to lose, right? So if I was a big MC that had access to platforms like BBC One Extra, Link Up TV, and I don't know, all the other big platforms out there, then if I come along, Phil Focus comes along, and say, hey, I've got this podcast, and maybe they don't know me. Obviously, when someone knows me and trusts me, so people from the drum and bass scene, it's much easier for me. If I just pop up in someone's inbox, which is what I've been doing, and I'm like, yeah, I've got this podcast. Oh, yeah, cool. Okay, tell me some more information. Obviously, the easiest thing for me to do is to get them to check out the Instagram page for Mic-Minded People, where they can check out some of the content, get links to the other episodes. But it's a small thing. It's just, this is an underground grassroots podcast. I make no bones about that. I'm proud of that. Do you know what I mean? Of course it is. I'm building this brick by brick. So as we sit here today, I think the Instagram page has got like 192 followers. Big up those 192 people. Honestly, from the heart, enough love to you guys. 192, big up. Let's get it to 200. That feels like a nice little benchmark, right? But yeah, they look on the Insta, couple of hundred people following it. The reels have got a few hundred views. As I'm saying this, I'm thinking, fuck all this stuff. Like, but anyway, this is the world we live in, right? This is how people will gauge things. I totally understand that. They might jump on the YouTube. You know, some of the videos have got 70 plays, whatever, which I'm proud of that. I think that's pretty sick. So yeah, but the point being that if you've got access to these huge platforms, why would you want to come on Mic-Minded People? Well, I'll tell you why you want to come on Mic-Minded People, because this is the real shit. No plush studio, no big budgets. This ain't going to get you like 1 million likes and all this kind of stuff, but this is real. This is grassroots. This is underground. This is for the heads. This is for the people, them. Do you know what I mean? So, MCs out there, if I'm reaching out to you, if you see me pop up in your inbox, slide into the DMs, then that's my that's my offer to you. Come on a real underground podcast. I want to hear your story. I want to talk about you. I want to hear your opinions. Maybe there's things that you don't want to say on these bigger platforms. So yeah, man, go back and listen to all the sick guests that I've had on so far. But I felt like today it's solo episode time, because whilst a lot of this is me chatting to people and hearing their stories and essentially like fanboying out with some of the people I'm getting on and the conversations I'm having, I absolutely love it. I thrive off this stuff. But I also have things that I want to talk about. I enjoy kind of jumping in the studio, like I said, in a good mood, come in the studio, bam, let's record an episode. I'm feeling it. And yeah, that's the protocol. So actually, I'll tell you what, before I get into the theme of today's podcast, because I like to have a theme to talk about, and as you've probably worked out by now, things can segue off into lots of different areas. That's how conversations go, and that's how, as humans, our minds tend to work, right? Like ping, 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 all different directions. Let's just do a quick check-in. So where are we today? We're just about to go into August, so obviously festival time is coming up. Had some great festivals in and around the UK recently. Not that I've been to them, by the way. I've been looking from afar with a bit of FOMO, you know, the good old FOMO. Yeah, Glastonbury had that. I think people have been out to Croatia recently for Outlook. Do you know what? I'm not going to lie. I miss going to Outlook. Probably did 7 Outlooks when it was at the Fort in Pula. That was for me, that was the proper heyday era. I was moving a lot with Skeptical at the time. So big up all my hitching crew, and the dispatch thing was kind of popping off, and we went over to Croatia. Hardware was out there. Some really good memories, man, of playing on all the different stages. The Moat. I mean, wow, who remembers the Moat? For anyone that doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about, the Outlook Festival, big bass music festival, used to be in, well, it still is in Croatia, but they've moved locations. It used to be in Pula, at an abandoned fort on the coast, like a big stone fort, essentially. And all the stages are kind of set up around this site, and one of them is in the Moat. So back in the day, this literally was the moat that went around the fort. So it's like a big trench, kind of dug down into the ground. I don't know how deep, but pretty deep. And yeah, the stage was kind of at one end of it, and there'd be like a big, long trench tunnel just going back, like open roofed, open air, as a trench would be. But yeah, going all the way back, hundreds, if not 1,000 people with the sound system. Every X amount of meters, there'd be a big block of speakers, and he'd be down in a moat just shelling it out, listening to some mad dubstep, grime, D&B. It was sick, man. It was really, really good. So yeah, I do miss going to Outlook. I've not played there for a while, and I'm thinking you know, it'd just be a cool thing to go out there as a punter. It's a tricky one, man, as an artist, because, you know, big up all the artists listening. I don't know if you can relate to this, but if you're used to getting booked for, and this could be anything, if you're used to getting booked for a certain thing, but especially like a festival abroad, and then you haven't been booked there for a while, like something about going there as a punter feels a bit odd. But I think as I'm talking out loud, I'm thinking, I want to experience that stuff again. I want to get out there. And I go to things as a punter. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying, oh, I'm an artist, I only go there if you book me. No, fuck that. A lot of what I've done recently has been all about tapping back into that initial original passion from back in the day, where you just want to go out to events, to parties, check out other DJs and MCs, get involved, have a dance, catch a vibe. And that's exactly what I've been doing. But in the UK, I've not gone and like bought a ticket for a festival anywhere. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, people are going to Outlook. In the drum and bass world, you've got Sardinia, Sun and Bass coming up. That's not till September. Boomtown's popping off. Boy, lots of festivals. Now, I did actually go to a festival last weekend, and I thought I'd try something different. So shout out to all my crew. We went down to Junction 2, which is in Brentford in West London. And I'm guessing it's called Junction 2 because it's under Junction 2 of the motorway. Is it maybe the M4? I don't know. Maybe I should have checked it out and looked it up, but I didn't. Yeah, Junction 2 is a techno festival, and one of the stages is under the flyover where the motorway goes over Brentford. And I went there with a very open mind, because what I really wanted was to just get out of drum and bass world for a bit, go and chill with a new bunch of people, listen to new music. And I've been getting into different styles of techno recently. I'm learning to mix on Pioneer CDJs, been a Technics man for a long time. Well, not learning to mix. I am now mixing on Pioneers. I've got it down now. And I've been mixing some sort of Detroit style techno. Big shout to Nookie. He has an artist alias called Binary State, and he makes some sick techno music. So I went there thinking, look, obviously I know there's lots of different styles of techno, as there are different styles of house and grime and D&B and whatever, but I thought I'd hear some stuff like that. What I heard was not that at all. It was a lot harder, bit faster. It wasn't like gabba techno, hardcore techno like I used to hear back in the day at the Helter Skelter raves and stuff like that. It wasn't anything too crazy, but yeah, quite heavy, quite hard, quite repetitive. And it was a bit of a mishmash, if I'm being honest with you. It was a mishmash of styles, which is no bad thing. But I found it a little bit up and down, peaks and troughs. In the last 2 hours of the festival, there seemed to be the DJs who I have no idea who they were. And hold up, one of them was called Charlotte the Wit. I think I pronounced that right. And there was another guy who was playing. Their sets were really good because they had a bit more of a thread to them, like a theme. It wasn't too much of a up-down mishmash. There was like whilst it twisted and turned, there was a bit more of a vibe to it. It took me in a certain direction. So yeah, man, I really enjoyed dancing. I mean, look, we were there from 2 until 10. So I was there for a long time, got involved, dancing. I think we were on the stage we was at the end of the festival. There was about, I think my friend said there was like 12,000 people there. So yeah, man, it was a wicked experience. And like I say, I think it's important to go to things as a punter. Don't just box yourself off as, oh, I'm an artist, you know, I only go to stuff when I get booked. That's not how it is for me at all. So yeah, man, big up all the festival crew. And then, yeah, aside from that, I mean, just to give you a bit of an insight again, this year, 2025, I've really made an effort to up my game in terms of getting more MC bookings. So 2024 was a bit of a lull for me. I'd become a bit lazy. Now I can look back and reflect. I can talk about this quite easily. I'd become a bit lazy. I was looking around thinking, oh, you know, a bit like victim mindset. I don't even mind admitting that. To a degree, not like super victim mindset, but I was looking around thinking, oh, that promoter doesn't book me anymore. Oh, why am I not booked on this event? Do you know what I mean? Like I've got some God-given right to be on everyone's event. And also felt like, oh, you know, I'm with an agent and they're not getting me enough work. And I was just trying to like push it onto other people. Now, what I realised when I had a word with myself, and sometimes you have to go through these things to peel back the layers and understand where you're at. But yeah, what I realized is I was disempowering myself by thinking it's down to other people to sort me out, and that's not how this music thing works. And I needed reminding of that, and I realized that I needed to get my finger out and start working again, networking, pushing myself out there, collaborating more with people, doing more things that excite me rather than just going through the motions. And a key thing, like I just said a minute ago, but just to reiterate or re-emphasize, going out to nights again, not just sitting on Instagram. Of course, like socials are a great way to connect, but going to events where I'm not playing, going supporting other DJs, rocking up at the promoter's event, just having it, not with an ulterior motive either, like waiting for like a chance to like quickly have a word in their ear. Oh, mate, can you book me on the next one? Not even that. Like no hidden agenda. And there's nothing wrong with doing that, of course, but just going, just enjoying the vibe, doing little bookings, doing bits and pieces here and there. And do you know what? It's worked. Oh, sorry. This is really important. The other key thing that I did after a bit of toing and froing in my head, I decided in January of this year to actually leave the agency that I was with. So I've been with a booking agent for about the last, I don't know, man, 12 to 15 years, been on a couple of different agencies. And yeah, look, it's been a really good experience. I've worked with some good people and I've had some great opportunities. I've definitely had some opportunities that I wouldn't have had if I wasn't with that particular agent. I got to, like, just quick examples just to throw them out there. Things that happened for me that were due to the agent. I went out to, this is a while back now, but I got the opportunity to go out to Dubai and MC with Goldie on a yacht in Dubai. You know, just mad things like that. I got to go to Singapore for a few days and get taken around Singapore and then do a set in one of the big clubs there. Things like that. But I just felt that over the course of 2024, being with an agent wasn't necessarily helping me that much. And I might even do like a little separate mini episode on agents because I feel like it's a topic that people want to hear about, they want to talk about. And yeah, I think I think it could be good fun. But for the point of this conversation, I needed to take control of my own destiny. That's the best way that I could put it, without going into like loads and loads of detail around how the relationship between an artist and an agent works and all this kind of thing. We'll save that for another time. I needed to empower myself, stop sitting there moaning, take control of my destiny and go out and back myself and get myself some work, go and grab it. And I felt that I needed to do that on my own. So said goodbye to my agent. Big up Jay, by the way, big up your chest. Absolutely no falling out or anything like that at all. It's just a business decision essentially, but it was the best thing that I've done. And I'll tell you why, because I sat there and I was like, shit, okay, now it literally is just me. If I don't go out there and get myself any bookings, then I'm not going to be playing anywhere. And it made me have to do all the things that I've already just run through, had to step my game up. So really for me, like leaving my agent in January this year it was an act of self-belief. I know it sounds quite deep, but that is how I feel about it. I had to back myself. So I had to say, right, look, do I really believe in what I'm doing? Yeah? Okay. Boom. Go out and do your own thing. What's happened is that I've had more bookings in 2025 so far, and we're halfway through the year, than I had in the whole of 2025 combined in total. Do you know what I mean? So it proved to me that this works. Now, I'm not saying that I would never work with an agent again. I actually see a lot of pros in having a good agent behind you. Some of them I've already mentioned. But I'm just saying sometimes you've got to back yourself. You've got to have that self-belief. And for me, that was a big, big component of it. I needed to take control of my own destiny. So, yeah, and the point I'm saying is that because I've done that, I've had a lot more bookings recently. And I'm really pleased about that. So I'm just giving you a little recap of how some of this year has played out so far. Now, one thing I just want to mention before we get into the topic is I've got a set coming up in September. So I want to big up man like MC Grafter. Big up Grafter. He's got a night called Escape Reality, and it's on the 13th of September in Hoxton. The reason I'm mentioning this one particularly is because this is a brand new thing for me. This is an exclusive set, a debut set, where I'm actually taking control of the selection, the decks, and the mic, and the lyrics and the flows. I'm doing the whole thing myself. and this is Fokus Presents Flowcase. Now, this isn't meant to be some kind of advertisement thing. Jump on my Instagram at MC Focus and you can see all the details. But I'm really proud of this because it's something that I've been looking to do for a long time. And I was kind of waiting for the right moment. And then I realized there is no right moment. You've got to grab hold of these opportunities. I've been practicing my mixing and all this kind of thing, my selection. So Fokus Presents Flowcase is me giving you the real essence of what I'm all about, playing the tunes that I love. It's a mix of my own tracks that I've made with other producers. I'm learning to produce at the moment as well. But when I say my own tracks, these aren't tracks that I produced. I've got a back cat of over 40 tunes from the last 15 or so years. And I want to play this music to people because things move so flipping fast. Tunes come out, people don't play them anymore. The DJs are on the dubs. You know, I'm sure like the people mixing in their bedrooms and stuff play them, but I'm not hearing them out in the clubs. And I'm sitting on some great music from even in the last couple of years, tunes that I still think absolutely slap. So Flowcase is me stepping up and representing, it's a showcase of my flows, my lyrics, my bars, but also my own tracks and just music that I like. You know, one of the things when you get paired with DJs is that sometimes it's a bit of you just don't know what they're going to play. You don't know what they're going to play. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But for me, that format is starting to get a little bit tired and a little bit played out. Again, it's all about empowering yourself, right? So I thought, why don't I take control of the selection? And then, to be blunt, I can just play all the tunes that I love to spit over, all the tunes that I love to hear. And then the set is going to be fun. It's going to be energized. The crowd are going to vibe off it. So yeah, it's me. There's mixing and blending in there, but some of the tunes, I'm just playing some tunes and then performing to the crowd over these beats. So anyway, Fokus Presents Flowcase, first of many, trust me. But I want to big up Grafter by name because, do you know what I mean? The guy's put his faith in me on this one. This is the first time I'm doing it ever in a club. This will be the first time I've ever touched a set of pioneers in a club. Do you know what I mean? So I'm really looking forward to this and it's exciting. So anyone out there, whether you're an MC, a music artist or any other type of creative, it doesn't really matter. Take risks. I think we need to take risks. And yeah, it's okay to feel a bit of self-doubt as well. I don't doubt that I've got the skills and the capability to do this. Some mornings I wake up and think, shit, right, I've really got to work on that set today, or I've really got to work on that flow or this mix or whatever it might be. But I don't doubt. I believe that I can do this. And I think that's the message to you guys listening to this. Believe in yourself. Feel the doubt. It's okay. It's just a thought. You don't have to connect with it. Take a deep breath, center yourself, and then move forward. Because where we grow is when we move out of that zone of familiarity. Some people call it the comfort zone. You can also call it the zone of familiarity. I knew I was going to fuck up saying that. You get what I'm trying to say. That's where we grow. That's where we grow. And yeah, it's important, man. We don't want to stay stagnant. We do not want to stay stagnant in life. So, yeah, that's my little intro ramble. But this is just the beginning of the podcast. Sit back, get comfortable, because today's topic, I've been looking forward to talking about this. Today's topic is centered around the cardinal sins of MCing. The unwritten rules of MCing, we could call it. There's an MC handbook, let's say. There's a code. That's a better word. There's a code to being an MC. And there's certain things that you just do not do. And I've narrowed it down to three cardinal sins. Thou shalt not. 3 cardinal sins that no self-respecting MC should be doing. And I'm going to break them down for you and give you some little insights and bits and pieces. So, look, this is just a bit of fun, but in some respects, I do mean this. In all respects, I mean what I'm saying here because I'm passionate about this culture as a performer myself and someone that operates within this culture. I'm not just sitting here on this podcast talking to you about MCing. I'm out there in the clubs doing it. Do you know what I mean? On the radio, in the studio. But aside from that, I love this shit. I love it. I love the culture. Nothing gives me more pleasure than the whole world of MC, and that could be sitting on YouTube watching a grime video or flipping. I've been enjoying some of the kind of dancehall reggae sunsplash things recently, like, those legendary clashes with Vibes Cartel and Movado and Bounty Killer and all that stuff. And listening to podcasts with these people on. Listened to a sick podcast the other day, actually. Buju Banton was on Norrie's one, Noriega, Drink Champs. It's quite funny, actually, because Buju Banton doesn't drink alcohol. And, the whole premises of that show is that people sit there getting absolutely smashed, chatting to Nori. But, listen to Buju Banton and Vibes Cartel. And I tend to find when I listen to things, then it gets me more excited about that person's music. So I've been dipping into their back catalogue. But the point is, I'm here to represent this culture. I'm here to, in a way, kind of like protect this culture. So this is what I'm talking about. The cardinal sins of MCing. Number 1, do not talk over vocals. Now, look, this one, I think it's kind of obvious to a degree, but I know there'll be a lot of people listening to this that are not MCs. In fact, this will make you laugh, but I've got to say big respect to my 80-year-old dad. He listens to every episode. So, not like he's an MC, or I don't think he is, unless he's spitting bars without telling me. But I don't want to ever assume that people kind of know what I'm talking about straight off the bat. So, do not talk over vocals. This is born out of, and this isn't specific to any genre, but obviously a lot of dance music has vocals in, whether it's garage and grime, whether it's jungle, drum and bass. So when you've got someone on the mic, when you've got an MC working alongside the DJ and they play a vocal track, it's partly etiquette, but partly the unwritten rule, right? That you just don't talk over the vocals. And okay, fair dues, like someone might say the odd thing, but what you certainly do not do is spit over the top of a vocal. It's very jarring to hear. And of course, people have done this. There'll be tapes from some of your favourite raves out there where the MC is carry on chatting over the vocal. Why are they doing that? Maybe it's because, who knows, man? Maybe it's because, I doubt it, but maybe they can't hear the tune very well and they don't even realise that there's a vocal in the tune, but that can't be the case. That can't be the case. Maybe they're heavily intoxicated and they're just waved and they just don't give a shit and they're just carrying on. But any MC worth their salt knows not to chat over a vocal. Now, this is slightly different. I say another one related to this, but I'm not including this in my top 3. And another similar thing is don't chat over the mix. Obviously, a lot of DJs would say don't chat over the mix. And I would say to a degree, don't chat over the mix because the DJ is doing his or her thing. They're blending. If just from a practical point of view, when you're in a club, particularly in a club, and the monitors are loud, sometimes the MC is coming through the DJ's monitor. Now, again, like a lot of the time, it will be set up in a way that the MC has their own monitor, the DJ has their own monitor. Well, the DJ will always have their own monitor. Whether the MC has got a monitor or not, sometimes that can be a bit of an iffy one. And again, that could be another great topic for a podcast because MCs need monitors. If you're a promoter, if you're a sound engineer listening to this, you have to give the MC a monitor. Otherwise, we cannot do our thing to the full capability. But anyway, I won't go off on a side rant. But is the MC coming through the DJ's monitor? If it is, in that moment where they're mixing, they're blending, they need to beat match and keep it all in time and everything like that. If you've got an MC's voice coming through the monitor, I can highly understand and imagine that is very annoying and it's essentially covering up exactly the sounds and the frequencies that you need to hear. So from an MC's perspective, of course, you want to hold back when the DJ's mixing. But I don't think it's a cardinal sin. You can do it. It's not a biggie, I don't think, but you just need to be mindful of what you're doing. But the vocal thing, definitely. There's, especially in the world of drum and bass at the moment, I know it's going to be different in grime and hip hop. Obviously, hip hop is MC based music. So maybe again, I'm talking more from a D&B perspective. If you're an MC listening to this, hit me up and let me know how it works in your genre. But there's more drum and bass MC driven tunes popping up at the moment, which is great to see. I've talked with some of my guests about MCs becoming an artist in their own right, and that's a big part of that. But in this time where DJs are playing more vocal-based tunes, then the MC needs to be even more mindful. And it can be tricky. Don't get me wrong, this can be tricky because I've had it, right? I've MC'd with some great DJs, even recently, where they enjoy playing lots of vocal tunes. Now, again, there's another little side thing here where I could say, look, if you're working with an MC, why would you be playing loads of vocal tunes? Can you not switch it up a bit so that the majority of tunes are instrumentals that I can ride over, and the vocal tunes are kept held down a little bit so that the DJ and the MC can work together? But that's a different conversation. The DJ can play what they want. Do you know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, when you hear the DJ play a tune that's got an MC spitting in, just need to hold it back. And yeah, that means standing there with the mic in your hand, not saying anything. And that's a whole nother skill. That in itself is another skill. MCs need to have the confidence and the know-how to be able to still have presence on the stage, still do their thing, still hold the crowd, still control the vibe without even talking. Now think about that. Think about that. Stage presence is so important, and you don't even need to say anything in order to have that. You can connect with the crowd, you can build a vibe and not even say anything. That's a deep one, really, isn't it? So MCs need to be on top of that. Do not talk over vocals. That's number one. Number two, do not bite other MCs' lyrics or flows. Yeah, this is a techie one, isn't it? So I think, again, it's kind of obvious. You don't bite people's lyrics. You don't copy their flows. No one's here to be a copycat. You're not going to get very far. There's no longevity in copying. For people that aren't used to the terminology, then we call this biting. If you're biting someone's style, biting their lyrics, biting their flow, it means you're stealing it. You're copying it. But this is why I said it's a bit of a tricky one, because there's an obvious time where someone's copying. If you hear someone do your lyrics, then essentially they've copied your flow. They've bitten your lyrics. But I like to look at things from different angles. So let me give you a couple of examples, right? And let me bring a young Fokus into the mix. So what is the difference between saying some words that someone else says and biting their lyrics? Now, to some degree, is it obvious? If an MC's got a particular set of bars, a particular set of lyrics, then when someone repeats those same words in that flow, in the same order, then yes, they have just bitten your lyrics. But there are only so many words. I mean, look, there are a hell of a lot of words in the English language, but there are only so many words in the English language. So is it biting lyrics if two MCs say the same words? No, of course it's not. But there's a reason I'm mentioning this, and it's just a funny little story, which I don't think I've mentioned on any other episode. But yeah, I'll take you back to the young MC Fokus. So this would be, I don't know, man, 1999, maybe going into the early 2000s. Pirate radio, Prestige FM, station that's very close to my heart. It's the first station that I got to go on. And yeah, anytime I mention Prestige, got to say RIP to MC Wizard. It was his station. He set it up. It was in Letchworth in Hertfordshire, where I grew up. And Wizard was a good guy, man. And he was doing bits in the scene. He was starting to move with Timmy Magic and Dream Team, doing stuff in the world of garage. He had some good links and a good energy about him. And he sadly passed away. As I understand it, he had an epileptic fit, I believe, and he passed away. So RIP Wizard, man, big up. But yeah, his station Prestige, that's where I first cut my teeth. And there's this whole beef that happened on the station one day where I think it was a Sunday afternoon. I was there around Wizard's Yard, and I said I'm top of the bill in one of my lyrics. And with garage, right, I really enjoy freestyling. Freestyling is where you make up lyrics on the spot, off the cuff, off the head top. And I was freestyling to garage. I didn't really have any set bars, and to be quite honest with you, I was pretty shit at MCing to garage. But yeah, so I was freestyling and I said, I'm top of the bill. I don't know. I have no idea what I said, but I'm top of the bill. I've got the lyrical skill and I'm aiming to kill. It could be something like that, simple bars, right? Next thing I know, a whole world of beef kicked off. There was another MC on the station. I'm not here to like call out names and stuff. I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? No one's probably going to have heard of him anyway, but there's another MC on the station, right? And the phone call came in. Pretty sure he phoned up and he said, "The fuck you doing, man? That's my bar. I'm top of the bill." And I was like, "Oh, right, okay." And this whole, I can't really exactly remember how it played out, but there was some bad vibes about it. And I am not and was not a rude boy, okay? I'm not a road man. That's just not my background. And he was more on that kind of tip, let's say. And he wasn't happy about it, and this whole thing developed that carried on and on for weeks, and yeah, maybe led to some other stuff that happened. I don't know if there's a link between it or not, but it got a little bit heated at some points, and I felt like it got a little bit out of hand. But the whole point was he was saying, I'm top of the bill, like it was something to do with a footballer. He was saying, I'm top of the bill like this footballer, and I was saying, I'm top of the bill, I've got the lyrical skill, or whatever it was. Now, I just came up with it as a freestyle. But he said that I was biting his lyrics. Now, is that biting? To be quite honest with you, I would say no, because biting. Okay, this is how I'm going to break it down. I feel like when you bite lyrics, there's an element of premeditation. It's a bit like murdering someone, right? I hope this makes sense as I start to talk it out loud. Murder is premeditated. You sit down, you plan it, you carry it out, you execute it. Biting lyrics has an element of premeditation in the sense that I would argue consciously, but whether you realize it or not, you have just replicated someone else's lyric. Now, if you say a couple of words that someone else says, is that biting? I would say it's not, especially when there's no premeditation. I didn't sit down. I mean, fucking hell, I'm probably going back in a time machine here. It was a long time ago, 25 years ago, but I didn't sit down to say, right, yeah, I'm going to take that bar, I'm going to steal that one, I'm going to put it into myself. I'm not about that. I'm not about that. So, and it's funny because I've listened to MCs recently in bringing it up to date into drum and bass. I've heard MCs bars where they might say a couple of words that I say in a thing. And I honestly, I cannot think of a good example now, but I don't know, man. Let's just say I did a tune ages ago called Structure, different structure, sharp and serrated. And it's one that connected with people and people like and would associate with me. Do you know what I mean? So does that mean that if I hear another MC say sharp and serrated, or an MC say different structure, my structure's different, serrated and sharp, is that biting? I don't know, man. I'm not sure if it is or not. Like if I heard someone say the lyric, of course I'm going to be like, they've just blatantly teethed my lyric there. But someone can say the word structure, different structure, and it's not biting. So I feel like this needs to become a bit of a debate I have with some people, actually. And that's one thing I was chatting to Ilmatica about. He was my most recent guest. And we were saying, like, maybe it'd be cool to do a Mic-Minded People forum where, as a podcast episode, where I could get multiple people on at one time and conduct this kind of forum so we can talk about some of these topics. So what do you guys think? Is everything that I've just said there, is that biting someone's lyric? Is saying the same words as another MC, is that biting? What's your opinion? Let me know, man. Hit me up on the Instagram at Mic-Minded People. If you're old school. I think I've had one email the whole time I've been doing this, but the email's there as well. hello@micmindedpeople.com. What's your opinion on biting? What constitutes biting someone's lyrics? Now, flow, cadence, all this kind of thing is, I feel like it's a grey area. Like it's obvious when someone is trying to sound like another MC. They're trying to copy their sound, their flow, their cadence, whatever it might be. But then again, there's this whole thing of around imitation versus inspiration. And big up Peas, because we talked about this on the very first guest episode that I did with Peas, another sick MC. And we're just saying, like, it's obvious when someone's trying to imitate, but everyone is inspired by something. There's loads of MCs out there, big MCs, who were obviously inspired by GQ. You can hear in the way that they flow and roll that GQ is a big influence, or Skibber, or X-Man, or whoever. And, you know, going into the grime world, there's untold examples of this, but everyone is inspired by something or someone, and they will build that into their flow. You know, when I first started out, the very first lyrics that I would chat were the only MCs I'd heard when I first got into this thing years and years and years ago was Stevie Hyper. He's the first MC I heard on a tape pack. So I'm just a kid at the time. My friend got decks. So yeah, I am standing in the bedroom, literally word for word, doing Stevie Hyper these bars. But that never went beyond the bedroom. When I realised that I've got a taste for this and I want to go out and do it on the radio, on tapes, at parties, and all that kind of thing, then I was not doing Stevie Hyper these lyrics, because I know that that's biting lyrics. But it's just how I got started, and we're just having a laugh. We're just messing about. So when it comes to flows and this, so that's an obvious example of biting. But where the grey area is that fine line between inspiration and imitation. And again, like, look, I'm not going to say names here, but back in, again, timelines, not mid 2000, I don't know, like 2005-ish, I'm going to say ish, very loosely. I had someone who's gone on to become a well-known MC call me out on Drum and Bass Arena, because he was saying, like, it was a horrible, I tell you what, it was a horrible feeling, actually. I was at work, and one of my friends called me up and he said, bruv, I think you might want to check this out. I'm on Drum and Bass Arena. The forums back in the day, it was all about the internet forums. So Drum and Bass Arena was one of the key ones. And he said, yeah, I'll check this out. So I went on there, and there was a thread. And this MC was basically saying that I was trying to imitate and bite someone else's flow. Now, it wasn't a good feeling. And I took issue with it, because, now, when I say I took issue with it, I didn't get involved in a slanging match or anything like that. You know, anyone that knows me knows that I'm not, whilst I will back myself and I will defend myself and defend my people, I'm not here for confrontations. I'm not like someone that's aggressive and up in someone's face. That just isn't my style. So I would very, very rarely get involved in that kind of thing. So when I say it became a bit of an issue, I didn't get into it with this person, but it really kind of made me feel like a certain way in my mind. I was like thinking, shit, is that true? Is that what people think? Is that what people think? I'm kind of trying to sound, and it wasn't about biting lyrics, because I knew for a fact I wasn't copying anyone's lyrics, other than what I said about the Hyper-D thing, where we're just kids messing about, practicing. I've never bitten another MC's lyrics. That's, again, it's a cardinal sin. I know the code. I intuitively know the code. Do you know what I mean? But then I started thinking, shit, even like subconsciously, am I now sounding like this other MC? And it kind of, for a little while, it went into my head. And then the mad thing was, X amount of months down the line, this MC phoned me and said, yeah, bruv, you need to switch up your style. You know, you're sounding a bit too much like me. And then I was just like, wow, what the fuck is going on? Because it felt like, even though I was in my head, I'm just doing my own thing. I'm on the circuit. I'm cutting my teeth. Of course, I'm inspired by different people. I'd gone from hearing like Stevie Hyper and X-Man and MCs more in that kind of that side of the scene, the kind of high energy MCing, double time MCing. That had been my world. And then as I edged more into London in the early 2000s, I heard different styles of MCing, different types, people that are more rapping, people that are more hosting, all this kind of thing. So I'm getting so many flashes of inspiration. And then within a space of a few months, I've got one MC calling me out on D&B Arena, and then this other MC, you know, and these are well-known people calling me up on the phone saying, you need to switch up your flow, you switch up your style. So it got into my head, and it was not an easy thing to deal with, because I wasn't out to copy anyone. But when you hear that kind of thing, you know, you've got to sit down and reflect. And sometimes I feel like I can only sound like my voice my voice can only sound like the way it does when I speak. Yeah, of course, you can put on a tone, an accent, this kind of thing, and it can sound a bit fake. Some people can pull it off quite well, this kind of MCing voice, but that's not really my style. I'm here to project my voice in a way that sounds powerful and clear. I want clarity, but I'm not here to like put on an MC voice. So at the time, I'm just thinking, wow, I'm just out here trying to do my thing, and people are saying I sound like too much like another MC. But this is like 20 odd years ago. I've learned that the most vital thing you can do as an MC, as it pertains to not biting styles, flows, other MCs, is just really work on believing in yourself, because no one really wants to sound like anyone else. What's the point? All you're ever going to be is the second best version of that person, right? And of course, like there's certain people that stand out as having amazing voices in all genres. There's certain MCs in it that just can pick up a mic and all they need to do is say check one, check two, whatever, and it already sounds sick. They don't need to have content and bars because they just sound amazing. But however you approach it, you need to be comfortable in yourself, and you need to find and develop and work on your own style. That's the point I'm getting to. That's important, because I think in those testing times when people are saying, like, mate, you're getting on the phone at the radio, you've stolen my lyrics, or next man saying, oh, you sound too much like this other MC. These are all moments, and I don't think there's anything wrong with standing back and reflecting and saying, is this the case? But like I said, you've got to bring it back to that, what was the word I used? That premeditated intention. In your heart of hearts, if you're an MC that's sitting down going, I like their flow, I like their bars, their style, their sound, and I'm going to copy it, I'm going to imitate it, and I'm going to try and get away with it. That is a very different energy from taking inspiration from the OGs, from the people that you're around, from other places, other people, experiences that you have, and molding it into your own style. So yeah, look, again, this would be a great topic for the forum. I feel like I could talk about this forever. But yeah, number 2 is not, it's just all about do not bite lyrics, do not bite flows. Take a breath. Hold on. I need a drink. Bear with me 1 sec. And by the way, like I like to try and keep these podcasts as unedited as possible, in the sense that, with all the different AI tools and all this stuff now, you can literally set it to cut out every single second of gap, every time you pause, every time you say a filler word and all these different things. And you can end up like cutting out about 30% of the podcast, but it makes it a bit jerky, and it makes it like it's a bit like And I think also it's that whole thing for me around what we're trying to achieve here. This is not meant to be some perfect conversation like a lecture at a university where you've got to say the right thing and you can't stop and pause and think. Like in a conversation, in a real natural conversation, you stop, you pause, you think, you respond. So this whole thing about like, AI wanting us to just talk non-stop and not have any pauses, and there's even this like mad setting where you can, I'm just sitting here with the camera in front of me. Sometimes I look at it, sometimes I don't. I'm essentially just sitting, like I've said before, in a padded room talking to myself. Definition of a madman. But there's this whole thing on the software that I use where you can use the AI tool so that it fixes your eye gaze onto the camera at all times. I've not done it yet. That's a bit mad. I might do one just to see what it looks like out of interest. But yeah, we're not aiming for perfection here. Why am I even saying this? Oh yeah, because I stopped to have a drink. And would people normally cut that out of the podcast, edit that bit? Nah, can't be bothered. So, drum roll, please. Number 3, the third and final cardinal sin. My favourite one as well, I reckon. I think this is my favourite. Do not ask for the mic. And to be even more specific, I think what I really mean actually is do not ask the MC for the mic. Because look, if there's a mic on the stage and the DJ's playing and no one's MCing and you're an MC, fair dues. Maybe this could be your opportunity to find the promoter, speak to the DJ, however it's running, and get on the mic and do your thing. Maybe that could work. I don't know. I, I, I think I have done that in the past. I'm sure at little parties back in the day, I would have seen an opportunity and grabbed the mic, jumped on, and done my thing. But what I'm talking about here, this is the cardinal sin, what I'm about to say. Someone is already MCing, an MC is on the set, doing their thing, rolling out, working with the DJ, and you're an MC. You're in the crowd, and you want to come over and ask the MC for the mic. There's different versions of this, so let me run through the different versions. And MCs out there, especially in the world of D&B music, will be able to relate to this. And it's funny because I was chatting to someone the other day, they're more from the hip hop side of things, and they were saying that this doesn't happen in hip hop. This isn't a thing because in hip hop, again, it's MC based music. The MC's at the forefront, the MC's the artist, they're doing a set of songs. No one's going to come up and go, hey bro, yeah, can I get on the mic? But in D&B, because maybe people, especially like ravers that are a bit mashed in the crowd, are standing there seeing the MC on the set, obviously thinking that maybe they could grab a piece of the action. So yeah, the different versions of this that I was going to talk about. Well, like I just said, version one is you've got the crowd in front of you and someone will beckon you over and say, bruv, can I just get a 16? 16 is a 16 bar lyric. When people talk about 8s and 16s and 32s, they're talking about the number of bars in the music. So 16 bar is, essentially them chatting their lyrics for 16 bars. But anyway, they'll be, yeah, bruv, can I jump on and have a 16? Now, this one is always a funny one at first because I can only talk about this from my perspective and my opinion, because this happens quite a lot. Now, let's be honest, this person is probably a complete stranger to me. 9 times out of 10, they're looking like they're quite intoxicated and having a great time, which is brilliant. But yeah, what am I going to do? Am I really going to give them the mic? You got to think of it like this as well. Like, I'm a professional person. The promoter has paid good, honest money to me to come and provide them with a service. Now, of course, like, I don't think about music like that in the sense that I'm there to, it's all about vibe, connection. I actually find MCing in a rave, it's like there's like a spiritual connection to the music. Well, there's certainly a tribal connection. Lots of people all gathered together, dancing to the same beat, me on the mic or the MC on the mic, building up the vibe. That's like a tribal thing. That's a spiritual element. But of course, on the more pragmatic side of things, then yeah, it is a business relationship. I'm providing a service and my client is the promoter. They have paid me good money to come and provide a service in their rave. So what am I going to do? Am I just going to stop? Even if I wanted to, am I just going to stop and give the mic to some random in the crowd? What are they going to do? What are they going to say? The other one that I get as well is funny. It's like, this tends to be more so on the female side of things. Oh, can I say happy birthday to my mate? Can I say big up my mum and stuff like this? And, obviously I'm not, well, it depends what mood you catch me in, but 9 times out of 10, I'm not that serious. I like having a laugh. I like doing stupid stuff. So first time around, I'll have a bit of a laugh with them. I'll say, oh, no, sorry, mate, not tonight, that kind of thing. But do you want a shout? Can I big you up? Can I big up your person? Yeah, you want me to say happy birthday? No problem. Now, it can get a bit jarring when that person wants to do it again, second time, third time. I really don't appreciate that. And that's when it can get a bit techie. And what makes this even worse is when, in that instance there, this person might never have MC'd before in their whole life. They could be buzzing their flipping tits off and just decided there and then, epiphany moment, da-da, I want to get on the mic. MC, can I have a go? in their head, this could be the start of a new career. It could be the best moment of their life. I don't know, but it's not going to happen, is it? But that's the kind of sort of bracket I'm going to put them in, is the overexcited raver bracket. Okay, that's the first one, and really they're fun ones. And you just say no, sorry, can't happen, mate. Whatever. Then hopefully they leave you alone, or if they don't, you move to the other end of the stage, and hopefully it just fizzles out. Now the second one is where it's an MC who wants to come and tap you on the shoulder and ask if they can get on the mic. Now, that's different to the raver one because they're already an MC. So I'm going to break this down into two. There's the up and coming, right? There's the up and coming MC who is looking for their break. They're spitting, they're doing their thing, but they've decided that tonight's the night they're going to see if they can jump on in this rave. Now, I get it. I was an up and comer once, and it is all about creating opportunities. But I can honestly say, hand on heart, I have never, ever asked the MC for the mic. The only exception to that is because a good friend of mine is the MC and we already have a relationship and we already work together. Now, in those instances, especially back in the day where I might have been a bit pissed up, there is a possible chance that I might have said to someone like my good friend MC System, Mark, you know what I'm talking about. We used to go out back in the day, the drinks were flowing, you might have a booking, you might even call me over and say, Phil, do you want to jump on? And I'll be like, yeah, boom, okay, no problem. It might get to the end of the night and I might catch your eye and wander over and say, what are you saying, mate? Do you want to go back to back? But that's different, man. We're friends. We do this as a thing. There's a connection, there's an energy. That's not me walking up to a complete stranger and asking for the mic. So yeah, the up and coming MC wants their break. Now there's better ways to do it, honestly. I know things are slightly different now, but back in the day it was about giving out tapes, recording tapes, give them to the promoter. Go to the rave, give the promoter a tape. Give the radio, the pirate radio, a tape. Record your sets, get them out there. I mean, look, it's even easier to do that now because of social media with Instagram and SoundCloud, all the other tools you've got at your disposal. The way to get on the mic, the way to get your break, should I say, is not to hassle the MC. Because think about it, right? Even if you come on and you do your 16, what's really going to happen? Like, do you honestly think the promoter's in the thick of it? They're the one that runs the night. They control the lineup. Do you think the promoter's going to all of a sudden stop what they're doing because they hear your voice come on over the mic and run over and be like, oh my God, that 16 was amazing. I need to book you for my next rave. I mean, yeah, I'm being a bit facetious. Maybe that could happen. If you're so amazing that 116 gets you out there, then yeah, that could happen. But this is what I'm talking about. There's a code. There's unwritten rules to this thing. So the way to get yourself out there is not to hassle the MC who's there working to do a job. And it can become very frustrating. Now, like I said, I'm not here to cuss anyone out. I'm certainly not here to name names and that kind of thing. But this happened to me recently. And the person asked, it was definitely 3 times, and it might have been 4. Now, you've got to understand, this particular one I'm thinking about is a busy rave, hundreds and hundreds of people. It was going off. I'm in the zone. The adrenaline's flowing. I'm buzzing. I'm just barring out. I'm just going in. It's one of those sets where I was going in. I wasn't just standing there doing a bit of hosting and we were in the zone. And my man's tapping me on the shoulder, bruv, can I get on the mic? Can I just have a lyric? Now, the annoying thing was I'd been out a couple of weeks before at a different venue and he was doing it then as well. So, like I say, I'm very passive. I'm very friendly. I'm here to support people. If you're an up-and-coming MC, you're exactly the type of people I like helping and working with. I'm a flipping mentor for music artists and a coach. When I'm not MCing and working in my own music career, I'm literally helping other people with their own creativity, their own performance, their own confidence, their own style. It's quite literally what I do as a profession. But there's a time and a place. Like Moose's voice just... Oh, mate, I wish I had this clip. MC Moose, legend. His voice just popped in my head. There's a time and a place, rude boy. Yes, and Moose nailed it. There is a time and a place. That time is not in the middle of a busy rave with hundreds and hundreds of people shocking out. And look, come on, first time, okay, I'll give you a bly, fair enough. Overexcited, no problem. I'm always polite. Not, mate, no, it's not going to happen. But yeah, big up. Second time, it's getting a bit annoying. I might ignore it. Now, third time, and then fourth time, nah. This is where I wouldn't say I switch in the sense that I'm not an aggressive person, so I'm not going to be like, yo, well, no, all this. But I'll just have to be quite stern. And what I said on this instance, I just said in a very in a very stern voice, because I meant it, bruv, you need to stop doing this. You should know better. You should know better, because we're MCs. We're part of this thing. I'm not coming at this from an elitist point of view or saying that, oh, like I'm like an ego thing. I'm the one in the limelight. How dare you try and steal my limelight? No, it's not about that. But you need to understand the unwritten rules and the code, the MC code. You don't hassle a man for the mic, an MC for the mic during his set, because I have to do something about that. A, it's putting me off. It's annoying me. Yeah, I could just ignore it, but I needed to say what was on my mind, which was you should know better than this. Not just a raver in the crowd. You're an MC. You're out there MCing. Don't be doing this. And that's what I'm saying, peeps. Like, we need to represent this culture properly. Like I was saying, if the hip hop man aren't doing this, then it can't. I don't want this to be a drum and bass thing where, you know, the only music where people seem to think is cool to like try and blag the mic in this style is in drum and bass. You know, we need to make sure that the people know the code, people uphold the code, and they know what the levels are. And then I said there was like three sort of little brackets to this. I don't know, man. Like the third one is just a slight deviation from that, where I've had it where an established MC just politely comes backstage while I'm doing my thing in the middle of the set. You kind of see them out the corner of the eye and you know what's happening. Comes around the side and just says, hey, mate, how you doing? Yeah, cool, big up. You know, we know each other. He's established. We're doing our thing on the circuit. Can I just jump on with you? And for me, it is just as simple as a polite no. Because that's different. When it's an overexcited raver, I get that. When it's an overexcited up-and-coming MC, that hunger, then, okay, cool. There's something within that I can relate to. If it's an established MC that's already doing their thing, then, again, it just doesn't work like that, does it? And I can only flip it round and say, I would never do that. I'm there to support the other MCs. Like, trust me, I love nothing more than, actually, funnily enough, one of the same events that I'm talking about, you know, after my set, I went to another arena and GQ was playing. Now, you know, I want to go up and give GQ, you know, go and big him up, shake his hand, say, yes, bruv, good to see ya, show love. That's all I'm doing. I'm not going up to GQ saying, oh, bro, you know, any chance we could do a little back-to-back? What are you saying? Nah, I'm there to show love. And yeah, of course, everyone likes being part of the crew, don't they? Like, I love all that. But then I'm going back to the dance floor and having a dance and enjoying the vibe and soaking it up. And also, like, listening to someone like GQ, you know, a master at work. I'm still a student of this. So I'm there watching, learning, listening, and above all else, enjoying. Now, again, it's different. I just want to drop this in there just because it's one of the best moments of my whole life/career. There was a moment, and I know I've mentioned it before, but I don't give a shit. There was a moment in Fabric where I'd done my set and GQ was MCing and he saw me at the corner of the stage and he invited me over. Again, I've said that's cool. That is not a cardinal sin. Of course it's not. That's people showing love, sparring with each other, back to back, sharing the vibe and the energy, having fun. I'm down for that. I'm here for that. I will do that with people as well. But yeah, it's not about going up and tapping the MC on the mic, you know, one professional to another and saying, any chance I could jump on? It's just going to be a polite no. So, what do you reckon, man? What do you reckon, people? The cardinal sins, the unwritten rules, the MC code. What have I missed out? So, number one, do not talk over vocals. Number two, do not bite lyrics or flows. Number three, do not ask for the mic. I'd love to hear what you think if you're an MC, an up and coming MC, just a fan of this culture, have I got it wrong? Maybe you think I'm chatting a load of shit. I'd love to hear from you because this is all about feedback, yeah? I'm trying to build a bit of a community here. So jump on at Minded People, Instagram, building that up slowly but surely. And hit me up, man. Hello at mindedpeople.com. So where are we at time-wise? Hour and 6. Okay, that's cool. I'm going to wrap it up there. The other thing before I sign out, ultimate MC ciphers. Tell me what your ultimate MC cipher is. This is a regular feature of the podcast, especially when I have a guest on, where I ask the guest if they could pick any 5 MCs. This is dead or alive, past or present, any genre, any style, who would be in their ultimate MC cipher. 5 MCs sparring with each other, passing the mic around, catching a vibe, spitting their lyrics. Who would you want to hear? Who would you want to hear? Who would you want to see? So yeah, on the guest episodes, you can hear my guests break these down, and I'm going to drop them as little separate reels on Instagram as well, just to recap. But as listeners, as people that take time out to listen to the podcast, send them to me and I'll read them out. I've done it a few times. Just want to keep reminding you. So I've not done it for a little while. So listeners, please hit me up. Just send me the 5 names. You don't have to give me an explanation, but you can do. I'll probably give a little bit of, I'll read them out and tell you what I think. So one thing I've noticed actually is that Eminem has featured in a lot of them so far. Eminem, Stevie Hyper, Skibber, you know, it's no surprise, is it? Because these people are legends of their genres and of their time. But one thing I've not heard a huge amount of is, let me know if you've got any ones that are out the box. Like I said, because I've been listening to different podcasts recently and going down little YouTube rabbit holes. Like, what dancehall artist, is there a dancehall artist that you would put in your ultimate cipher? Is there a garage MC who would go in it? Something like that, something a bit different. I'd love to hear that. So let me know, man. But yeah, big up. In the meantime, just keep it locked. More guests coming soon. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll do all the usual stuff that podcast people say, because it does help. The liking, the subscribing, the following, the shares, the comments, all that kind of thing. And if you're listening on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, you can listen on Spotify and Apple and vice versa. So check it out on all the channels. And yeah, until next time, people, this has been Minded People, the culture, the craft, the conversation with me, Phil Focus. Till next time, we're out. Peace.